We live in times of war, and today I gatecrashed a Liberalist podcast. Now, one of the guests there is this fellow, who legitimately believes in horseshoe theory. This is going to be fun, isn't it?
Any institution that's not explicitly designed to be right-wing will eventually become more and more left-wing.
Oh yeah, I saw that. 3 Laws of Politics.
Hello, my friends. It's great to see you.
Hello! Wait, is this...
Are these the Liberalists? Is
Oh,
this a Liberalist podcast?
Ah, yes, it's the Sargonic man. Yes.
Oh, is this the Liberalist podcast?
No, actually, this is the Radical Alt-Centrist podcast.
This is
Can I ask a few questions to the Liberalists present? I just want to get to know and understand what the ideology is, really.
There is no Liberalists. We are Radical Alt-Centrists. I don't know where you got this notion from.
There are no Liberalists.
You Liberalists are a myth. They're actually a conspiracy theory created by the alt-right.
What's wrong with the alt-right, my friend?
Well, they believe in conspiracy theories like Liberalists. I mean, they're constantly talking about the Liberalists as though they exist. I mean...
So there's no organization of Liberalists on the internet?
Yeah, I have no idea. That is absolutely insane, believing there's some sort of, like, secret cabal of, like, people who are, you know, centrists. I mean...
They're not secret, though, are they? They're quite unashamedly degenerate, from what I've seen.
It's really common.
Hello, my friends. It's great to see you.
Hello, my friend. It's great to see you.
Welcome to the Radical...
Apparently there are no Liberalists here in this.
There are no Liberalists. I think you'll find that they are just trying to meme you. They're just trying to have a little joke.
No. There are no Liberalists. They are a myth created by the alt-right.
I've heard that one of the people present in this conversation is a spokesman for the Liberalist Discord. Is that correct?
Celestial, I believe.
No. Celestial is a Radical Alt-Centrist.
Where is Celestial located? Where is he? Didn't he go to the loo?
Celestial left right when Black Adam came in.
He popped off to the bog.
Do you reckon he's going to Nicholas?
He's gone to Nicholas. He has demanded that Nicholas ban anyone.
Well, we're off the Discord server, so this is the Swamplands. Anything goes.
Anything goes, eh?
So are there any fans of Sargon here? Any fans of Sargon? Is no one here then willing to stand up for their liberalist beliefs?
Celestial White.
For liberalist beliefs?
Yeah.
We're actually no. So we are Radical Alt-Centrists. There are no such thing as Liberalists. Liberalists are a conspiracy theory created by...
Well, you may be a coward, but I don't think Celestial is.
No. You see,
Celestial, you're a liberalist, aren't you?
You're trying to meme us.
Adam, excuse me. You need
just because you don't want to be accountable for your actions. I understand.
Celestial's a proud liberalist. I want to speak to him first and foremost. I want to understand what liberalism is.
Celestial is muted, but I think I heard someone in the background, so that's probably why he's muted.
I think I can see his thumb. That's his thumb right there.
Is his thumb constantly on his camera?
And this these dollar store earphones are absolutely so.
Okay, we caught the tail end of that, Celestial, so you're going to repeat yourself. Are you there, Celestial?
Can you hear me?
Now I can
hear me.
We can hear you, Celestial. Yeah. So you're a liberalist, aren't you?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna switch earphones.
I'm waiting. Yeah. Well, isn't this fun?
Although you're just making up. Oh no, Celestial's back.
Now.
Yeah, so you're the spokesman for the Liberalists, aren't you, Celestial?
I'm nowhere near close to that, dude. I'm nowhere near close to that.
But they call you the spokesman, don't they? And you've accepted the role, haven't you?
No, I don't think I ever have.
So what position of prominence do you have, Celestial, in the Liberalist Discord then?
Prominence do I have? So I don't.
He is going to be our glorious fascist overlord for the Radical Alt-Centrist movement.
Oh yeah, bro. I'm gonna be tyrannical and shit.
Yes, he is our king. He is going to be the king. We believe in aristocracy here.
Well,
Rule
let
with an iron-
Celestial speak with conviction, please.
I'm gonna rule with an iron fist.
No, this
Celestial,
is
in all seriousness,
this is
what
100%
position of
serious.
prominence do you have in the Liberalist Discord?
Hmm?
What position of prominence do you have in the
What
Liberalist
position
Discord, Celestial?
Right. So I wouldn't say I really hold any position of prominence.
You hold an unofficial one, though, don't you, Celestial? A very much an unofficial position.
I mean, so if you're speaking of like the team meetings, I am part of I'm the vice of the research team, but that's really not that big of a deal of a position, you know.
Well, what do you do
So
on this
what you wanted
research
to
team?
know?
What do you do on it? What do you do on the research team then?
Oh, we just so we just do like you know, reading and stuff. Mostly boring. It's not really worth, you know, noting.
Well, so why note it anyway? Why be in that position? I don't understand.
Why be in that position? Because it's a helpful thing to do.
Helpful to whom? Sargon? Nicolas? V?
I think the movement as a whole.
What's the movement?
I
Can
would
you
say-
define the movement as a whole? What does it stand for, Celestial?
What is the movement as a whole? So the movement as a whole is a group, a collective, if you will, of individualists who all have come together.
Sorry, can you just repeat that? Sorry,
in
I missed
order-
that. Sorry. A collective of...
individualists,
Okay, go on, carry on.
or
Actually, I'm gonna get autistic here. This whole like individual collective like meaning that alt-right does. I'm not sure if I think most of them are retarded. But I think like a good.
That's not very
portion of those that are
charitable.
more
Yeah,
intelligent,
and plus we're listening
they're
to
doing it.
Celestial
They're
speak, so
doing
don't
it more
cut
out
in,
of
please.
memeing than doing it
Stop
like out of any.
cutting into Celestial,
No,
your
no.
leader
See,
and
I
king.
will cut in all I want because I do what I want because I'm an individualist.
I don't believe this is your podcast, is it?
Yeah, this
no,
is
no,
not
no,
your
I'm-
podcast. It's the
no, I'm-
Celestial podcast. Let
I'm-
the liberalists, the
this
proud
is the
liberalists, speak.
Swamplands, and I am the Swampland master Shrek. So
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I'm,
Celestial,
You are the ogre of
Celestial.
Kentucky, after
so
all.
you don't understand.
Carry
I'm-
on with your explanation of what liberalism is, please.
See, you don't understand. I'm the donkey to his Shrek. Get fucked.
my word is law, and I say
Cheddar is Lord Farquaad.
can do whatever the hell they want. You know?
I kind of want to be Lord Farquaad now. God damn it.
So anyways, what were you saying, Lobsterist?
So what's your
the distinction between individualism and collectivism?
Celestial?
like
Celestial.
to
I'm asking what you believe
They're
that
absolutely retarded.
liberalism is.
I'm
Can you
telling
just tell me what
if
you
want-
stand for
if you
with
want to
liberalism,
do what
Celestial?
I have to say, then he is going to speak first. And if you can't,
Celestial.
Yeah,
Celestial. I was
Adam-
speaking first, but my answer
to be
that I was
kicked,
waiting for from you was cut into, wasn't it,
then you're
Celestial?
going to be kicked off.
That's because you're getting cucked.
I'm trying to ask you a question,
No, what you're trying to do is get cucked.
and you're
right?
not answering it.
Okay. Minx, can you get this
What
guy
is
out of here,
liberalism?
please?
That's all I want to know.
He doesn't want someone articulate to answer because
Oh, no.
name on it.
No, come on. Okay, let's say this is all under the bridge now. There's all water under the bridge. Okay, so you say your little piece that you want to say about individualism versus collectivism.
Oh, the
What about
individual
nowhere?
the individual and collectivism. It's a common meme that the alt-right uses. It's really weak. They need to cut it out because most people aren't
Okay,
terribly
noted.
articulate.
Noted.
They aren't
That's
terribly
fantastic.
articulate
What an
about it.
articulate comment.
I can
Celestial,
explain
can you
it
speak, please?
at length if you would like, but I mean, like people
We
like,
don't need it explaining at length because we all have a bathroom temperature IQs here, I'd imagine.
I mean,
Okay.
if you do, I mean, then I don't need to explain it. Then you don't have to act like you need education on the subject.
Yeah, come on, Celestial, then, please. Can you provide your answer?
So what exactly do you want me to tell you?
I want you to tell me what you stand for with liberalistism. Why do you
What
believe
I-
in it so much?
Radical alt-centrism.
Yeah, but this isn't Celestial's answer, is it?
So I would say freedom, democracy, the things that make the West great,
Well,
So
when you say
how is
freedom,
liberalism different to that existing power structure at the moment?
You see, the interesting thing is the only way to be an edgy boy on the internet is to advocate for the overthrow of civilization.
So how, Celestial, how is liberalism different to that which is in power at the moment?
Well, so it's a little bit different in that
It's the true
It's
spirit of the
seeking-
West.
yes, exactly. It's not this Marxist academia shit. It's not
So
this.
is
No.
Trump a Marxist?
No. See, to be fair, people like Adam are more Hegelian than they are Marxist.
So
pretty much-
Celestial,
That's fair.
Celestial, does Sargon embody the true spirit of the West then?
Does
Does
Sargon?
V embody the true spirit of the West?
Well, I believe that these gentlemen are exemplars. They are the aristocrats of
Yes, we believe in that.
Western values, if you will.
So when you establish your liberalist state, V and Sargon will be in positions of prominence. Is that correct?
No, they will be aristocracy, and we will worship their line, and we will be
the
glorious
God
dukes.
King of mankind.
But you're not being ironic, really, are you?
Well, they'll be manly man kings.
You're being post-ironic, aren't you? This is the word that you're being.
Post irony. What if I'm
this is
what if
meta
I'm
irony.
post irony?
No, this is meta irony.
Okay, you can call it whatever you want, but it's post-irony at the end of the day. You're saying things that you actually believe in an ironic sense, aren't you? Because you do admire
So post
Sargon, don't you? You do admire him to some regard. You're a subscriber. You do watch his videos. You do believe in the same ethics that he believes in, apart from one or two minor points, probably. Am I right in saying this?
Are you right in saying that I watch Sargon's videos
And agree with you.
occasionally?
And agree. Do you not agree with Sargon then?
Hey, who just joined?
Do I agree with Sargon?
Hi, that is
Oh,
Jordan,
Yeah,
King of
you agree with
Traps.
Sargon, Celestial?
Hey,
Ah.
so do I agree with Sargon? Yes, on certain things, on certain topics, on certain issues.
So where do you
yes.
disagree, Celestial?
Where do I disagree? Well,
His beard is pretty terrible, and he does play video games, which is pretty gay.
That's hilarious.
call it
Let
degenerate?
Celestial speak.
disagree with his position on the.
No. This is the swampland. Come at me, bitch.
Exactly.
This is an absolute free for all. This is not a team effort. I will cuck you all.
And you will be cucked in return.
Oh no.
Celestial,
the
Celestial.
uncuckable.
I'll just move away from Sargon, and I'll just address the sort of point about you talked about Western values. Our Western values. Who's responsible for those Western values?
Who is responsible for Western values? I
Yeah.
believe that we're all responsible in our own.
No. Who invented them? Who is the people of the West that came up with these values and are the
No.
only large components of these values?
Like they were not invented by people. They were given by God, the Christ Lord. We need to convert to Eastern Orthodoxy. Get fucked.
Isn't this fellow hilarious? Celestial, who invented Western values?
No,
Who invented Western values?
I could explain at length why Western values stem from Christianity. Get fucked.
I think that Western values are an extension of the human innate drive towards hierarchy. And also,
Which humans? So what race of humans?
Are we really going there?
Adam is a full-blown like 1488 or so. That's probably where he's gonna go.
Which
really?
race of humans invented
Yeah,
Western
I can
culture? I'm
already
just
tell.
asking an innocent question.
Oh yeah, it's real innocent.
Did you know Black Adam is actually if you rearrange the letters, it spells Heil Hitler.
it was clearly the
I've had enough exchanges with Black Adam to know what Black Adam's about.
So who invented Western culture? Which race of people? Just in general.
clearly the Blue Man Group.
Well, let me
No.
answer that for you, Adam. That was the white man who did that when he was oppressing us folks.
Hot man?
Hot take. It's the
So
Japanese.
can I ask why do you hesitate when I ask that question?
No,
Why do you skirt around that question?
Actually, it
why
was
do
the
you
Arabs.
hesitate to
It was
answer
the Arabs and the Romans that founded the Western.
Why
culture
do you
because-
hesitate around that question?
Adam, we
Why
know
do you
where this
circle around
question's
it?
going. Like, we're not interested.
Yeah, he does not know how to stop.
No, it's a simple question that you can
He's
ask.
simple,
You didn't
it's not
say
to
it
a
was
question.
white.
Isn't he?
You didn't say white people made it, but others can sustain it, or anyone else could have made it. No, you were scared, very, very scared to answer it. You refused to answer it. You said the Blue Man Group.
No.
funny joke.
Cheddar Man, you don't understand. It was the Arabs that actually founded Western culture because of Jesus' heritage. But actually, Jesus was half God, so therefore, it wasn't the Arabs. It was actually God that created Western culture. Get fucked.
How funny! You are hilarious.
I'm sure there's lots of pagans who would disagree with you there.
Yeah, but they are heathens, and we will burn them.
Okay, very good.
Now, is
So
there another question that you would like to ask?
Yes, a
Besides this
liberalist state, would that be a civic nationalist state or a ethno-nationalist
No,
state?
it would be
Or
a
would it not be
theocracy.
nationalist whatsoever? Would it be, completely non-nationalist? A bit like, open borders and all of that malarkey.
No, true liberalism can only be represented by theocracy. You don't understand. You guys are.
I think you're mistaken, friendo, because I believe that transhumanism is the only way to achieve true liberal democracy.
No. The only way to achieve true liberalism is to establish a theocracy.
Well,
Like this weak
That may
ethno
be.
state. This honestly, the ethno state stuff is the most cucked thing I've ever heard. It is the weakest form of government. It is the weakest form of ideology I've ever heard because they have nothing other than skin color. Like no. You need hard
So,
fucking.
okay, I'll
principles
talk
that
to you
people
now
will
then.
Bleed and
So
die
what do you
for.
mean by skin color? Do you not think that race is tied up to more than something than just skin? Do you not believe that?
Like-
do you not
like
know
you-
that to be true?
Like what? You're gonna die for your skin color? Really? Like you're gonna sacrifice?
Do you honestly think
everything
that race is just
endlessly?
skin color?
No. See, theocracy has a much more hard grounding than racism. Like theocracy, we will burn and
No, but that's not the question I
No,
asked.
you can have a theocratic ethno-state.
Yeah,
can't
and that's
you?
not the question I asked.
The two principles
Yeah,
are not
you-
mutually exclusive.
you would have to have.
Is race deeper than just skin, my
you would
friend?
you would have to create a new religion based on race. And
Yeah,
good
but that's
luck
not what
with
I'm
that.
talking about. Is race deeper than just skin?
Religion is deeper than everything.
No, but is race deeper than skin? That's my question.
I mean, I think your skin comes from your race.
Okay, so what's race then? Define race, please.
I mean, that's a good question. I think JF has the best answer for that.
No. What's your answer?
My answer is probably the same as JF's.
So what is that then?
He's more articulate about it than I am. He's a geneticist.
Do you not know your answer?
I mean, honestly, I told you to go look.
Do you
at
not?
this
You don't know your answer, do you, mate?
You're having a hard time, buddy, man. You got cut for like 30 minutes.
Do you not know what race is?
It's an arbitrary concept
So do you think you think race is an arbitrary concept? Of course you do. Why is it arbitrary?
because you can't define like.
You can't define race. Yes, you can.
I mean, you can have as many races as you want. You can have one race. You can have two. You can have five.
Yeah, but plurality of race doesn't mean you can't define race.
it's a fluid concept.
Just because there's a spectrum, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Exactly. That's JF's answer. I told you go look at JF.
So race exists. then.
Okay, let me quickly look at JF for without having any video to look at in particular and go through trawl through hours of footage to try and find this. Yeah, very good way of avoiding the point, my friend.
Celestial,
I know you guys know who
Celestial,
JF is.
Celestial, the other liberalist. Do you believe in race?
do we believe in race? I can only speak for myself, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It's annoying.
I believe that 500 is a
I
good right.
actually wanted to argue. I wanted to argue with Celestial about epistemology. If we could get people that are
So you're not going to let him
less
finish
than-
his answer. This is his
No,
podcast.
Can we get rid of the subhumans? I mean, that I'd
You're
like
not
to
gonna let him
talk about
finish his answer.
epistemology.
You're being awfully rude. You've been rude this entire
Being rude
time.
to your podcast
not only Black Adam, but also Celestial.
All right, I muted Black Adam and Cheddar.
So
Why? Why
Fantastic.
did you
hold
mute
on,
me?
Hold
For
on.
2 for
Thank
10.
you.
I'm gonna let them make a point, then I'll unmute them.
I've interacted with both of them a number of times. They really don't know when to stop. They can be funny, but sometimes if their joke fails, they think that the appropriate thing to do is to double down.
I mean, look, you haven't had a successful joke this entire podcast. No, not even a giggle.
So
I mean-
I was simply asking Celestial what his opinion on race was and whether it was real or not, and then you decided to butt in.
Would you guys mind if I stepped in for a second?
Go ahead.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mind.
So run the question. Like, let me take this seriously for a minute. Who's the one that keeps butting in with jokes? Mr. Something. Sorry, I can't see the whole name. Run the question by me again, Adam.
So is race a social construct to the liberalist movement?
It depends on what you're defining as race.
So what do you think I define when I talk about race?
It depends on whether or not you're talking about the social aspect or the genetic aspect.
Is race not both?
It is both, but it's not usually helpful to try and talk about both at the same time
Why not? I don't understand.
because it just splits the topic up.
No, but the topic is race, so the topic includes both of those aspects. So the topic includes both the history of those peoples as well as the genetics of those peoples, doesn't it?
Okay, and I'm just asking to focus on one for the moment. Like we can combine it later. I have no problem with that. But
I find it harder to focus on one when both are so intertwined. That's race, isn't it?
Okay. So, do you want to talk about the genetic one first?
Okay, we can talk about that then. Is that a social construct
No.
for the liberalists?
At least it's not to me. I won't speak for everybody, but it's not to me.
Does it
And
have an
makes you
effect in
think?
real
Wait,
life?
what makes you think that?
Look, from a biological perspective, it's pretty obvious that we are going to evolve differently. It's not just going to be skin. It's not just going to be skin color. It's going to be health issues. It's going to be averages on things like strength. Yes, potentially even IQ. And I know I'm probably going to regret saying that, but yeah.
So would a liberalist state treat these people all the same then?
It
people
would
of
treat them.
different
It would give them a basic equality of opportunity.
But what happens if they don't match that equality of opportunity? What if they're given the opportunity of equality and then still fail anyway? What happens then with the liberalist
Well,
state?
that's on them, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree
I'm
with
dead.
that. Yeah, I agree with that.
But that's incredible inequality.
It's an equality. Okay, so you can either have.
They're
one or
born
the
to
other.
be that way. That's incredible inequality, isn't it?
Born
It's
to
in-
That's on them.
Well, actually, let me respond to Black Adam on the merit of that for a second. So let's say that it was, purely just it's purely unequal and it's unfair. If we want to go that route for a second, I mean, compared to what, really? Because let's say that we sent them all. Let's say that we're talking about Black people for a second, or even Asians, Hispanics, whatever. If you send them back
Or
to their
just white people. I don't mind. Whichever racial group we want to talk about, I don't care.
Well, I mean, like, let's say that, for instance, we decided, okay, so we just can't get along with Black people. Let's send them back. I don't think that they would have a better outcome, even failing in America, than they would succeeding in most cases in Africa. Like, America is
they
just a
fail-
nicer country for the most part.
So if a racial group failed in the liberalist state that wants to be established, and the argument is, oh well, that's on them then because they're individualists. Is there
Well,
no
they're
blanket
individuals.
by the state for them to help them or help them survive?
This is actually somewhere where I would agree significantly with Thomas Sowell that extensive welfare does more to destroy community than it does to actually help it, especially over the long term. I think that something like a social program could work in a short-term emergency situation.
So giving people
But not over
money
time.
makes them do worse.
it does.
It over the long term, yes. This is actually an example that you can, case you could cite for this particular situation would be Haiti, where after every disaster, because Haiti gets stuck with a lot of disasters because it's an island in the middle of, in the ocean, right? Where a lot of hurricanes go through. And we always send aid every single time. The United States does. There have been multiple situations where the Haitian government has literally told us, stop sending aid because the Haitian people aren't, they're not doing anything for themselves because they're just waiting for the handouts. Because
Why do you think that is?
this is something that isn't strictly just Haitians, though.
No,
So
no,
this
no.
is-
the
Okay,
same
go.
thing's
Sorry,
happening.
go.
Let me finish real quick. So this is something that you see across the board. It's amazing actually how lazy any person can be if you provide everything in a nice package for them and they know that all of their basic needs are taken care of and all they have to do is nothing. That's
So
just-
what?
Look at Gothic.
So in a liberalist state, then, what do you do with the people that simply won't help themselves? And what if you? Well, and what also the sort of addendum to that question is, what if you realise that the pattern of the people that don't help themselves all belong to a certain race?
Look, I don't think that's entirely fair because if again we're talking about this from an individual perspective.
No,
It's
but
not-
I'm just applying the statistics we know now. For
Sure.
example,
I know.
For example, like in America, you know, 50% of homicides are committed by, you know, black minority groups. That's a fact.
Did
So
that
what would
always,
you do with
was
that sort of
always
average?
the case? Because I want to split this into
No,
two
but
areas.
that's the average we can
No,
point to.
it has been the case pretty much, more or less, give or take. I think it was a bit less in the 70s, but since civil rights, that's pretty much been the case, yeah.
Yeah, it's
How
spiked
about-
ever since the New Deal.
Right, and what
Well,
happened?
no, since civil rights. The New
Before-
Deal actually
So
made
my question would be,
homicide
what
go
do you
down
do-
quite a
Before-
bit.
No, hold on.
So
I
what do you
understand
do,
that.
like, with people who won't help themselves in the liberalist state? Do you deport them?
Okay.
Do you starve them to starve them
Two
out?
things.
Do you lock them in prison?
Two things. So starving them obviously isn't an option. That's ridiculous. That'd be cruel for no reason. You can provide them limited welfare. I don't think that's unreasonable, but fundamentally, I think that there's a core problem that we're not getting to. So before Jim Crow was repealed and we started talking about like proper civil rights, the black community didn't have crime rates like this. It was after. And I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't have repealed Jim Crow. I'm not suggesting that before anyone even goes there. What I'm saying is the black community isn't necessarily inherently violent. So the way I'm getting there is it's not just that they're black. There's a lot of things that go in there. With poor communities, you always see exacerbated.
Well, it's definitely not that then. It's not. That's certainly not the only factor. But is that a factor?
I don't really have enough data, honestly, to even try.
So in the liberalist state, then, what do you do with groups that won't help themselves?
There's actually a point to be made there. So, like I said, pre-Jim Crow, when the black community was starting to become economically successful, partially because they had a hostage market, the black business people did, as well as the white business people for the same exact reason. You did not see crime rates like this. The fatherless problem wasn't a problem. Basically, it was very rare. I think what we're seeing right now has a lot more to do with drugs. I think if we dealt with that problem, that would help a lot.
So the liberalist state wouldn't allow drug use.
No, I'm not. Actually, it's the exact opposite.
So you
In my
give them
opinion.
drugs.
No,
So
no.
you'd have these problems.
All right,
innate
maybe
in
not the
liberalist
exact
state.
opposite. Maybe that was the wrong way of phrasing that.
They would be legalized. I think they should be fully legalized.
So full legalizations of heroin and other such drugs is a liberalist principle, or is it only the softer drugs?
Well, let
Or
me
like,
explain that for a
crack
second.
or whatever.
Let me explain that for a second. So my position, and I won't speak for all the liberalists. My position on drugs is go ahead and let them all be legal, for the reason that I don't think that things like crack, I don't think things like crocodile survive open market conditions. And the reason I believe that it comes from Portugal, because they did the exact same thing, and drug use overall went down because people that wanted help could get it freely. And things like crocodile simply don't exist there anymore, at least not nearly to the degree they did. That would also have a secondary effect of killing off cartels and gangs, because now they don't have drug revenue to work with, as well as jumping a whole lot of nonviolent offenders. They would end up draining out of the system over decades, right? Because it's no longer a crime. So I feel like that would unwind several different issues all at the same time if we could just get over our hangups on drugs.
So
So
letting
if you
these people-
legalize drugs and you make them accessible to a group which is naturally predisposed to be violent and to take those drugs,
I don't know
you
if
don't
predisposed
think there's going
drugs
to
is
be
there.
vast, but you don't think there's going to be vast inequality in that society.
Look, as long as everything is fair and equitable, I'm not that concerned with the outcomes, honestly.
So you're not concerned with vast amounts of inequality.
No.
No,
not
as
on
long,
the outcome side.
as long as it's not artificial inequality.
What does this mean? Is this artificial inequality in the same way that a communist views artificial inequality?
I can explain that pretty clearly. So there's basically two different kinds of equality that you could argue for. There's equality of opportunity, which is what we're arguing for, and then there's equality of outcome, which is what the communists would argue for.
But isn't equality of opportunity an artificial equality system?
Well,
naturally, we're unequal, aren't we?
I suppose you could say it's somewhat artificial, but the basic idea is if you give everyone the same resource, or not the same resources, but the same opportunities up front and say, okay, so everyone's going to have something basic along the lines of schooling, right? You're not going to go hungry as a kid. You're going to have a roof over your head as a kid. And like through your childhood, if you have the opportunities at that point, from that, what you make of it is kind of your own.
Well, these are not the same opportunities if you still have capitalistic wealth in the system, because, you know, I could send my children to an excellent, I could get them a tutor, I could send them to an excellent school, and all of these things like this.
Look,
you know, that would certainly not be equal to a drug-addicted mother who doesn't really care that much about her kids.
You're right.
In a liberalist, and also that drug-addicted mother, in a liberalist society, wouldn't have the help needed to lift her out of that.
Now, hold on, just 1 second, Celestial, real quick. And I'll let you talk after this. But basically what I would say to that is I understand that I'm not going to be able to stamp out every single, you know, inequality, but I can do my best, at least on overarching issues like drugs.
So you do want to stamp out inequality?
I'm saying that I can't. If it were up to me, I mean, as far as equality of opportunity, if it was even remotely feasible without destroying the culture and the economy, yeah, I mean, that'd be great, but it's not possible. So it's not even something worth striving for if it's going to destroy everything in the process.
So you do support, say, communism, but you don't because it's not practical. But if it was practical, you would support it. I
support equality of opportunity, which the communists would not agree with, fundamentally.
Well, you know, you just described equality of opportunity as being, you know, essentially everyone getting the same start in life.
I'm saying extreme equality of opportunity would be that. But again, that's not feasible. It would be great, but it's not feasible.
So would the market in a liberalist state step in?
It already does.
So in a liberalist state,
I wouldn't have any problem with that.
Would the market not be deregulated?
As much as I possibly could. Obvious exceptions for externalities, but yeah.
If I could cut in here, I think I picked up on something.
Yeah.
I think the disagreement is more about determinism. I detected one particular side really does strongly hold to the reductionist deterministic worldview, which is it's relatively common. It's a form of reductionism it's just inherently it's a bad form of reductionism. It's like trying to explain the causes of World War I using electromagnetism.
I actually also subscribe to determinism. I just don't think we have the information to do anything with it.
Well, that's the thing, is like determinism might technically be true. It's just that you cannot act out in the world as though the world is deterministic.
Right, that's true.
That you cannot base. It's metaphorically wrong. You can't act upon it. You can't.
But it's not technically wrong.
That's the thing, is it's metaphorically wrong. That's really the most important aspect of it, is that people who hold the deterministic worldview are always cancer, and they're always inhumane, and they're always fucking retarded. It's
a lot. Who are these people?
Yeah, well, so let's delve into
because you said people in this call were determinists earlier. So who are you calling fucking retarded?
You're calling us
cancer. Who are you calling this?
Here's the
who are you saying is one of the #1 killers in America?
When we're talking about opportunity being arbitrary, the idea that well, we're just products of our environment, so there's no such thing as equality because you can just kind of shape men how you will. Men are clay to be made. That's very much the deterministic worldview. And it might.
Who said that? I don't think anyone said that.
It might technically be true, but there's just too much chaos in existence to actually be able to do that. The idea that well, if we could make people equal in their opportunity, then there would be equality in outcome. The problem is that like you're literally not God, so that's not going to happen. You can't.
So why even strive for equality of opportunity then?
Exactly. So okay, so we've already determined who the determinist is.
No. So why would a liberalist state strive for equality of opportunity?
So what
Actually, I can actually answer that pretty
But
easily.
I enjoy that you would. I enjoy that you said you're not determinist, and then immediately say, "Well, no, we're determined."
Hold on, Mr. No. Like, don't take it down a rabbit hole. That's okay. I appreciate it, but don't take it down a rabbit hole. So ask that again. I'm sorry. Black Adam.
So why would a liberalist society strive for equality of opportunity if that equality of opportunity isn't necessarily going to help all of those in society?
It's not going to help everyone equally, but it will help everyone to a certain degree. This is sort of the argument for capitalism in the first place, right? The idea is the market over time, even though it's not going to help everyone, uniformly, it will raise everyone up. Even if it's not like some guy's going to be over here with like $5 billion trillion, right? And some guy's going to be over here with 50,000. But just because the difference is there, it doesn't necessarily mean that the guy that has $50,000 isn't doing well, right?
So is there not going to be any taxation in the liberalist society then?
Of course there'd be taxation.
How much?
And we've gone right back to determinism.
No. How much taxation would there be in a liberal? Like, what would you say? Just rough. Would it be a flat tax? What would it be set up if it was a flat tax, or what would it be set as?
This isn't something that I could actually answer for the entire liberalist movement because I think that my answer would probably be quite different. But my idea for what I would want to see for assuming that I'm emperor for a day, right, and I can mold society however the fuck I want. I would change around the tax system to from where it currently is, from an income tax to a purely sales tax system, where basically all of the tax applies as you're purchasing things. So
VAT.
VAT?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, so in England we have a thing called value-added tax, which is essentially what you've just described.
Yes, minus any other form of tax, yes. Basically, the idea would be that things like bread, for instance, you could put that like at 1% tax if you want to, because it's something that everyone needs, but you still want to get your pennies, right? Because a ton of pennies eventually equal thousands of dollars. Potentially millions if you get enough sales, right? And then something like, I don't know, a nice 2018 Ferrari, you could tax the crap out of that because it's something that only someone with a lot of money already and would be able to afford in the first place. So you're sort of...
It's a bit like the Chinese system, because that's how they do tax over there, isn't it? Although they do still have, these other taxes.
I'm saying that it would be purely sales tax. Basically, the idea is that you can freely move money around. Your inheritance is yours. The money that you have is yours until you spend it.
So what would you fund with this? How much do you think you'd be able to fund with this realistically?
Well, keep in mind, again, I don't speak fully for the liberalists. I speak for myself on this one.
There's no official liberalist position on anything really, other than they like freedom.
I'm actually working on that.
I think the basis of the liberalist is that we're not fucking Platonists. Okay, that's basically that's basically it. Is all we get is fucking Platonists over and over and over again. Like it's fucking amazing that people like just jerk off to Plato.
Hold on, Mr. No. I appreciate the sentiment, but hold on. So two things I would say to that. So first of all, I actually am working on a document that I'm conferring with other liberalists on to try and put something forward positively to say this is the liberalist values. As far as
values is fuck Plato.
Well, hold on, Mr. No.
Let him speak.
But basically, the idea is, obviously, that wouldn't fund nearly as much as we have right now, right? That's clear.
Yeah, so, Section 8, is it gone? Food stamps, are they gone? Are you going to cut NASA? Are you going to cut the military? Are you going to destroy the military and make it all private?
Do you recognise the need for taxation, though, to help those in poorer positions in society?
So two things. Food stamps I actually like. Section 8 I'm not a big fan of, but that's like specific positions. As far as how I would structure things, it would be more along the lines of, if it were up to me, again, because to understand how I would use taxation to fund the government, you have to understand what I think the government should look like, right? If it were up to me, you'd have a system where you got, so federal government up here, monopoly on force, that, as I think most people could agree on, right? And anything that must be universal across the entire country, like interstate trade, intercity trade, specific things
Kind
that
of like
must,
a regulatory body more than anything.
right? It's things that must be universal.
Would they do
and
gun
military.
laws? Would they do laws or what?
That one I'm still thinking about, but
Like, would they just be doing standardization and regulation, or would they just be making full-fledged laws?
it would be a case where the federal government, because it's something that must be universal, where the federal government exists, the new laws in the federal government would be at the whim of the states, basically. So take that down, right? You've got something like gun laws. I would prefer to be purely state, determined. But you go down to the state level, and then you've got more specific laws because now you're just talking about the limits of the state. And again, monopoly on force, making sure the cities aren't hitting each other.
Just cutting in. Would
Sure.
the limits of the state extend to controlling their borders?
In what sense?
Or controlling its borders?
If Arizona wanted to make a Mexican ethno-state, could it? And could it, enforce its borders even if it didn't want to do that?
Not at the state level, but I'll get there. So, and you're sort of getting to a point where I was actually going, that you guys would probably appreciate, going down to the city level, because I honestly think your mayor should be the most relevant politician in your life. It would be a situation.
Local.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, are you keeping it local?
As much as possible. It would be a situation where, let's say, Boise decided that they just don't want anyone that's not Asian, right? They want their Asian ethno state. On the city level, I'm kind of okay with that, honestly. As long as it's,
so there can be ethno states inside of the liberalist state.
I wouldn't necessarily care as long as it's not infringing on the larger state. If a city individually decides that it wants to be just Asians or just white people, I really don't care. That's
not
fine.
just black.
And what if that city then would export or deport or kill those other ethnicities that aren't predominantly of that race?
See, that would be a situation where I think that the state government should step in and say, okay, so if you guys are going to do this, right? And again, that would be the kind of thing that would require a supermajority to vote on, in the terms of the actual city, because it's affecting people that aren't already inside the city potentially, and say, all right, how are we going to handle this that's fair for everyone? Because obviously Boise couldn't just decide we're a white ethno state now and everybody else can just get the fuck out. That would be a situation where it would have to happen over time, over a pretty extended period of time.
And how would the liberalist state stop that then? Would it go in and kill those political leaders? Would it go in and just institute martial law? What would happen there?
I mean, I don't think
right of the individual.
I don't think that you need to institute martial law unless people start killing each other, really.
I mean, if you have a band of like alt-right people deciding that they're going to, undermine the government and form their own sovereignty, it's kind of the obligation of the government to go put those people down.
Right. Again, monopoly of force is the federal government.
I mean, it's actually like it's a moral necessity. They're
right.
undermining the pillars of power. They need to be oppressed.
But if we're specifically
so the liberalist state would stop.
Black Adam left.
Okay, fantastic.
I don't think that was intentional.
He was never seen again.
Oh, I was kind of having fun.
I get so he's a Platonist determinist ethno-nationalist. I don't even know how. He moves the goalpost and he doesn't accept anything that he doesn't want to hear.
I didn't have any problem with it.
I've had a number of interactions with him, and he can be entertaining. It's just that, when he tries to argue seriously, he is so disingenuous, it annoys me.
Yeah, maybe, but I was having a good time with it. You didn't see me struggling, did you?
Yeah, it's just I've had long conversations with him, and it irritates me. He hates freedom. He hates he hates the idea of agency. He hates the idea of nationality. It's just nonstop with him.
Yeah, I think half the reason I wasn't getting frustrated at all with him is that I've already drank just a little bit, so I was already pretty relaxed.
Oh yeah. I suppose if I need alcohol to deal with him, he irritates me.
I don't know if I need alcohol to deal with him, but it certainly didn't hurt.
There are certain members that of.
Are you triggered? Are you triggered?
I'm not. I'm good.
I'm slightly more okay with Cheddar Man.
Are you triggered? Have you been triggered? Has Adam triggered you?
Oh my god, I'm so triggered, bro.
He's
Triggered.
like I came in here to actually argue against Celestial because he had this, like Jordan Peterson debunk.
Oh yeah,
video.
were we gonna do the Jordan Peterson video?
But then we had two alt-right people come in here and start screaming about individualism and
Yeah,
collectivism.
screeching autistically.
And we were like, well, we're just gonna fucking dab on these niggas.
I mean, you were triggered though, weren't you? You were triggered. You admitted this earlier.
Man,
You were highly triggered by Adam's existence.
Was there some level of butthurt
He is your
involved?
He was your social better. He is your social better.
Anyone who's a Platonist is inherently inferior to me.
Sorry? Do you want to say that again?
Anyone who is a Platonist is inherently inferior to me.
Why is this?
Because fuck Plato.
Okay. Why was Adam kicked?
Oh,
Why was
damn,
Adam
Cheddar
physically
Man.
removed?
Wait, was Adam kicked? I was having a good
Yeah, Adam was
conversation.
kicked.
Adam was not fucking kicked. Shut the fuck
Adam
up.
was
He left.
kicked.
He can come back
You kicked
anytime.
him. You fucking kicked him. I knew it.
Why did you kick him?
Oh,
Why
no.
won't you own up to it? Why won't you own up to it?
Why won't I
Hashtag
do it?
free Adam.
Free Adam! Free
Hashtag.
my nigga Adam!
One by one the Liberalists shall fall, and I, Godwinson, can only grow stronger. Have fun, lads. I'm coming for you.
What do people think about Nico, the owner of the Liberalist Discord?
I think he's a nice guy.
He's an interesting character. I don't quite know how to pin him down.
Well, go on. Try to give us a little explanation. Try to pin him down. Try to pin him.
I think he's very much a Stalinistic figure. I think he just took down all the other. I think he's very much a Stalin figure. I think he likes being in charge of the Liberalist Discord because the Liberalist Discord
Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
The Liberalist Discord's like kind of a prime piece of territory as far as like the Discord territories.